very special person in the dance history of present-day Bharatanatyam. Not only Bharatanatyam, the arts in general. She had a holistic view of everything, right from dance was her main work that she did with, but she was a writer, she was a beautiful speaker, and then she had a wonderful taste for what she wore. She was very soft-spoken but very opinionated at the same time. But she had her own, if she differed with somebody on any topic during a talk, she would give very convincing replies to what she feels about. For a moment, anybody who listens to her, yeah, that's the only right thing and nothing else is right. You know, she could make people accept what she was saying in such a beautiful way, never authoritatively, but in a very... So these are very special qualities, and for me, as far as her, I have watched her full performance many years back when she did a Kuramanji here. I always used to think it was spelled as Korvanchi, Korvanchi. So I used to wonder why it was like that. Probably it was anglicized, but probably that made you something very special if you spell something differently, or if you put an R on in the opposite side, you always want to find out why and where. But then I realized it was probably during the British time that before our independence or the early part when we were not so worried about everything was anglicized. So Korvanchi was probably a Britisher would say, not Kuramanji. So she would always be very convincing in establishing her views. So that's one thing, and every time I met her, I had to take back something from her. The first thing, when I'm speaking right now, I'm sitting like this, I think of Mrinalini, because I've never seen her sit like that. Even 20 days before she passed away, when I went to look her up, when she was in bed, she had her bath cleaned, and then big photo, and then sitting straight to welcome me. She would never say that I'm sick. But after 5 minutes, after she spoke a few words with me, she said, "Now can I lie down?" No, she felt that her sick, she should not, she wanted always to be correct and erect, which was very essential for a dance. When she sat on her seat in her office, the other day Mallika was telling me, today I'm sitting, sir, in Amma's seat, but I know you probably must be feeling the void when I'm sitting there. So, and the way that she would explain her dances, philosophically or mundane, what about her language, was very understandable, very simple, but at the same time very evocating, that you wanted to listen to it carefully. It's not just somebody's talking and then you turning your ears away. And her ideas were excellent. She had done some very special productions just with ideas and using all the styles that she had learned. She had herself learned from Meenakshi Mandala for many years, Bharatanatyam. Then she had Acharyalu to teach Kuchipudi, and then he had puppetry as part of her that establishment. And then, so she had a lot of interest in not just the dance, but in all the arts. And aesthetically, I've never seen her wear something drab, even if it's simple cotton. Whether you go without informing, and you would always see her dressed up. So aesthetics was a part of her everyday life. She never, and being probably Keralite, you know, she always would have her hair
Hair
open
loose.
and you know, I love to go and see her just because um, not to, and she would have her own views. She will say, what did you like? You know, she would ask and
Okay.
things like that. In a very witty way, she would say, give her opinion about whether it was good or mediocre or whatever it is. And
Did she also take in criticism?
I'm probably she. mm, uh, she would always brush it off in
Okay.
in a smiling way. No, they wrote like this, and what do they know about what we have gone through and things like that. So not directly hitting at, and probably I don't think she had anything against anybody. I've never heard even her statements and things like that. So, but she was an artist. She was a woman whom I personally respected a lot. Whenever there is a chance, whenever I went to Ahmedabad, one place where I would definitely go and see, and I felt meeting her and talking to her, I used to feel blessed. You know, here is a woman who has dedicated all her life for the arts, like Rukmini. So, but the way she would put things, you know, the way she would speak, and it was always so convincing. About the style, and she had always had, she had a number of artists who worked with her, like Acharya or so many others had worked there. Yeah, Shashi was a main dancer. That she had dancers coming, and most of them were from Kerala also, because she could probably you have plenty of dancers coming out of Kerala, and then they would, for their livelihood, they would go. And many of them have worked with Mrinalini, and great musicians like Shankaran sir on flute, and then Purushottam sir on Bhotwadhyam. You know, she had all these people on her staff. Of course, they would be. After some time, anybody gets bored with an institution and then they leave, and that's part of her life of an institute. And sometimes she would feel bad that people have left, and then she has to depend on mediocres and things. But there was no other go, but she had to. So it's not an easy thing. It's 50 years, more than 50 years, how many years, much more than that. I'm not exactly sure. To have run an institution and in a beautiful surrounding. It's not as big a area like Kalakshetra has, but everything was artistic there. And then she got an open air theatre built there, and Malika probably suggested name Natarani. She was Natarani, you know, that's what it's called Natarani. And very enthusiastic. But I probably also feel opinionated because I belong to in an institution where I paid a lot of importance to every detail of movement and things. But probably she might at some time of her work when she was younger, she would directly and work with them. She could get things done the way she wanted. But sometimes, you know, there were times I've seen that she really didn't have too many artists, and then Malika took over. She had to project that in different ways, in theatre, in puppetry, in all those departments that she still had people working. There's been a lot of devoted workers. But for me, it's mainly an adoration. I adored that woman for the way that she would. I don't remember what all things we have spoken. It was always not a very long stay, but whenever possible, I would always go and watch.